Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Michelle here with Just for Sweets, and today we are going to be doing two Valentine's DIYs. One actually could be used for any time of year. You can design it the way you want, and the other is definitely for Valentine's. I'm also going to do a Dollar Tree hack, and it's really simple and easy, a lot of fun, and I think you will really enjoy it. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and hit the like button, as that helps my channel to grow. And let's get to crafting. So let me start out by saying that I am trying to get some lighting and some different ways to record. As I've told you in the past, I'm working on my craft room, and as soon as I get that done, I'll be filming in there. What you saw is some scrapbook paper. It's a pretty vintage looking typewriter, just, I don't know, really old, and I loved it, and I got that on Amazon. I will link that down below. Mod Podge, a candlestick holder, I had all my paints, and then I have this little mailbox that you will find in my Target haul. I will link that video down in the description box. I found these and I knew exactly what I wanted to make because I had made these in the past, so I knew that this was something that I definitely wanted to do again. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've heard from other crafters to get the paint to stick on the glass better, which I'm not even quite sure that that really works. I don't know if it's me rushing the painting process or if, I don't know, I'm not doing it right. But anyway, I go ahead and I Mod Podge the candlestick holder. And once you get that completely covered, you want to let it dry. I let mine dry for at least about 20 to 30 minutes, so it can help that paint that we're going to do stick. Okay, is it just me, or does anybody else grab their paintbrushes and use them to do the Mod Podge and then realize that they've ruined their paintbrushes? I do this quite often. I have to replace brushes all the time, so thought I would ask that question. So we just keep applying that Mod Podge and get ready for the next step. Okay, so I opened the pack of the scrapbook paper, and to my surprise, the very top sheet, which I thought was part of the paper, was a plastic sheet, but I'm going to put that to the side because you never know when I can use that. But I wanted to pick out the perfect paper for this, and this one had music notes on it, and so it was like sheet music, and I really, really loved that. So it actually kind of fit perfect in the area on the mailbox. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and apply some Mod Podge, and I do a thin layer, and I put it all the way around the mailbox, or until I know the paper's going to end, and then we wrap that paper around. I wanted to give you a little hack that I learned. I believe it was Cindy with Monarch Mom said that when you're Mod Podging with paper, put a little bit of Mod Podge on, and then put your paper on, and then a little bit more, and then that way you can smooth it out and you don't get so many bubbles, if any at all. Obviously I did not do that in this video, but later on I did realize that that was something that was a lot easier to do. I've really had a lot of fun this year making these Valentine's DIYs. I take them to my station at work. As many of you know, I'm a therapist, a hairdresser, and therapist. Just a joke, I'm a hairdresser. I take these to work and I put these things on my station, and then people usually will buy them here and there, but more than anything, I just love to create. And so I've had a lot of fun watching DIYs with Valentine's this year, and then coming up with my own ideas from the things that I watch. So as you can see, I apply a layer of the Mod Podge, and then I stick the paper on there and let that go down, get the bubbles out if I can. And this actually went on pretty straight. And then I will apply more Mod Podge and carry that over. So I sort of use that little hack right here. Once I get over the hump of the mailbox, I realize that just putting a little bit at a time helps with how smooth the paper gets. Crafting is definitely my therapy. It's my way of just letting my mind escape and just create. And I tend to watch YouTube videos while I do it and just kind of relax. I do it better when nobody's home, but I just find that if I've had like a really long day or a long week, if I can just sit and let my mind go and get creative, I enjoy doing this. So it's a really great form of therapy for me. Of course, I also have retail therapy because I see videos and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go back. I have to buy this. So I tend to have a lot of stuff in my craft room. So we're just gonna finish this piece of paper up, and as you see, it comes down and I'm just short. So what I do is I grab another piece of that scrapbook paper that is the same one. I turn it the other direction so that it doesn't look like it's upside down. And then this was a little tricky getting around the flag on the mailbox because it doesn't come off. There was no way for me to get it off without breaking, and I wasn't quite sure what to do. So I finagled my way around this and I placed the paper around it and managed to somehow cut that part out and then scrap it back together, if that makes sense. So once I get that scrapbook paper on there, I go around the flag, and then if I had any spots of red showing, then I just cut little pieces of the paper and kind of Mod Podged it around that, and it worked out just fine. So here I'm just using my finger, as you can see, to smooth that on there and get the bubbles out. I just find it easier. My hands are typically very warm. Not a good thing when I'm decorating cakes, but kind of good when I'm doing this. And I kind of just use my finger and rub gently and rub that down so that it's nice and smooth. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting off that excess paper that I don't need, and I'm gonna go ahead and blend the two together so that you can't really tell that it's two different pieces. So here, excuse me, sorry. Here I grab my Cricut scissors that I have. I need to get a couple pairs of these. I love them. They're so sharp and they just work in these little tiny spots. So I'm cutting around that flag, and then I'm gonna Mod Podge it and smooth it out. But I wanted to be able to get like a precise cut, so that's why I use these scissors over something a little bit larger. So we're smoothing it out, and then you see where that red is around the flag. Please excuse me, I'm like trying to make dinner, eat dinner, and voiceover at the same time while my family went and ran an errand. So I am multitasking, which most of us do a lot, especially as moms. So here's where I start cutting those little pieces of paper from the extra paper, the extra scrapbook paper that I had, and I just kind of place it around where that red is, and I just Mod Podge it together. I mean, honestly, when it's all said and done, you can't even tell. So I get on the paper that I need, and then I just add a little bit of Mod Podge over that seam again and just kind of blend it together. And then I let this dry probably for about an hour, if not longer. Because I don't like it to bubble up. So then after I let it do that, then I'll give it a second coat. But I do smooth it out as much as I can, and then I let it go to the side and let it dry. While I'm letting it dry, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna paint my candlestick now. And I'm using Rustoleum chalk paint and blush. I got this off of Amazon, so I will link that in the description box below. So I'm getting ready to apply the paint to the candlestick, but wanted to go ahead and show you that this is sitting there drying. If you can find any of these mailboxes, I know I told you in my haul that Dollar Tree has the paper ones, or they're like a cardboard. You can do the same thing with those. I just prefer the metal, and they used to carry them in metal a few years ago. And I had grabbed a bunch of them, and they were up in my craft room because when the quarantine stuff is all I'm gonna say started happening, I kind of got out of my crafting mood. I was kind of just like really, I don't know, I wasn't in a crafting mood, let's just put it that way. So I found some of my metal mailboxes when I went into my craft room, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love making these. So if you can pick some of these up at Target, they do have them. If you go to target.com or to your app and look in the Bullseye section, you can buy them on there. I did manage to order a few more of those, and I'm going to try to make them. If not, I'll use them next year, but I love that they're metal. So I've applied one coat of the blush, as you can see, I showed you before, and I want another coat on there. I get really, really impatient, and you guys, I don't have a heat gun yet. My supplies I'm buying slowly because I tend to buy so many crafting supplies, but then I don't like buy things like the heat gun and the little vacuum ladybug thing that everybody has. And so I'm slow at getting those things, but I will get them. So all I do is I paint one coat, I let it dry for about 30 minutes, and then I paint another coat and let it dry for about 30 minutes because I want to get some nice coverage on that. So that's what I'm showing you, and this Rustoleum paint is awesome. So I'm definitely going to order some more because our Walmart no longer carries Waverly, and the stuff that they do carry is not very good. So I think I'm going to switch to the Rustoleum, and getting it on Amazon makes it super easy because even Walmart has hardly any to choose from. So what I'm doing here is this has been sitting, and I'm going to go ahead and do my second coat of Mod Podge over the mailbox. And I do get it on the red part, and I usually just use my fingers and kind of wipe it off. But go ahead and give it a nice, good second coat and hope that, you know, try to work out the bubbles. But this paper was really thin, so I had to be super careful. But I went ahead and got that second coat finished. So here we're going to the other side, and I move the flag down so that I can do the top part first. And then I'm gonna let that dry before I lift the flag up and do the bottom part. That's what I'm doing here because I don't want it to stick. And I did make a couple mistakes in this, this project, and I will let you know about them as I go along. But it was better just to leave it up, and then I went ahead, I thought I left it down, but no, I left it up, and I went ahead and went around it, and then when that dried, then I put the flag down and was able to do the parts that I missed. Now I'm moving on to the Cricut. Now, I just got a laptop this year, so I have been using my phone for my Cricut. I want you to also know that I got my Cricut 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm just now using it. I was terrified of it, and I don't know why. But I have a couple things that I'm cutting out. Yes, it got crinkled in the tube. I don't know how that happened. I could not get it out, so I wasted some of my vinyl. But I'm cutting out some things that I designed on my phone, and then here I'm weeding out the things that need to be weeded out. And as soon as I apply them, you'll get to see what I did. But I wanted things that had like musical notes and love and all that. So it was really fun to do this project and to play with the app and designing and cutting out and all that fun stuff. And as you can hear in the background, because I have not yet learned how to silence my background, this is all a learning process. You would never know that I've been doing this for 9 years, would you? I am listening to YouTube tutorials. I think I was listening to Unicorn Dust Designs with Sammy. I'm pretty sure that's what I was listening to, but it could have been someone else because I listened to so many. But that is what you hear in the background before I realize, oh, hey, I can mute it or turn it down while I'm recording. But did I think of that now? So I'm going ahead and cutting out I don't know if this was I wrote love, yeah. So I weeded it out, I'm cutting it, I'm getting ready to apply the transfer paper. So now I'm getting ready to weed my sticker. Then I realize I don't need to weed my sticker. So I just go ahead and I take off that extra vinyl. And I have a super cute, I don't remember what it is. Is it a heart? I believe it's a heart. It is a heart. I loved how this one turned out. I love this vinyl as well. But that's what I'm doing here. So after all of this, I get all this done, we'll go ahead and apply the transfer tape. So now I'm removing the vinyl, the excess vinyl off the word love, and I wanted to show you guys this. I was trying to cut out my video that had all the background noise, but I wanted to kind of show you because I'm so new to the Cricut world. The love that I printed out, and I just love the font, and I can't even tell you what it is because I did not write it down and I just like picked it out. So like I said, I'm learning this thing. I love watching videos where they use the Cricut so I can see how they do things. But I peel this back and I want to show you what the love looks like. And it is so cute. Like I said, I love the font. Look at that. Oh, cannot wait to put that on the side of the mailbox. So I was weeding out another one and I decided to cut out some musical notes because I thought that would be super cute to put on the mailbox as well, since we are doing Valentines and love, and music goes hand in hand with that. So I am peeling those back and getting those ready. Everything's getting ready to be put onto the mailbox at this point. Now it's time to apply the transfer tape so that we can transfer these onto the mailbox. And basically what I'm doing is while the mailbox dries and the candlestick dries, I'm getting this all ready and prepared to put on before I glue the mailbox to the candlestick. So I have my transfer tape and I'm placing it over each one. And you guys, I save my extra vinyl little pieces because sometimes I just need to print out something super small. And then that way I'm not wasting. I mean, obviously I throw stuff away because you can't save every little piece, but it's the same way with the transfer tape. I save it if I have like little corners that I haven't cut out because you can use those with future projects. But anyway, I'm getting these all prepared, all ready to go on to the mailbox. Okay, so now my mailbox is dry and I'm trying to decide where I want to put the stickers. I didn't really think about it when I made these. I mean, I kind of did because I had to measure them, but in my head, I kind of had a picture of what I wanted. So I just play around a little bit until I get them to where I know I want them to be. So at this point, it's time to transfer them on, and I've decided where I want to place my heart. Now, I have this scraper. This one actually came from the Dollar Tree, believe it or not. I got it a while back. My Cricut one is somewhere in the craft room that I'm trying to redo. So this is the one I have on hand right now, but it works just the same. And so all I'm doing is rubbing that heart onto the transfer tape so that I can now transfer it onto the mailbox. And I didn't show you, but after rubbing that decal several times, I finally got it to separate and get ready to put onto the mailbox. And I just kind of rub it on with my fingers like I did earlier. I use the scraper, or I'm not sure what that tool is called, but I used it a little bit just to get it to stick on there. And this actually stuck pretty easily. And I just love the way it looks. Oh, obviously, I had to rub a little bit more. But for the most part, it came off pretty easy. And there it is. Now we will move on to the other stickers and figure out where we're going to put those. Now this love, I really loved the love. I loved it, and decided to put it towards the bottom of the mailbox. You see me placing it and straightening it out, and as usual, using my fingers to smooth it out. And then I'm sure I'll use the tool to scrape it down a little bit as well. Or maybe I won't. Maybe it came, nope, I didn't use the tool. I just used my fingers. That one came out great. Then I'm going to put those musical notes on there. And that'll be the ending touches for this cute little Valentine's mailbox. All of these decals went on pretty easily with the Mod Podge and everything on there, and they just looked perfect. The musical notes added that special touch, so I'm just going to continue to add on the decals, and then we'll move on from there. How many of you like to decorate for Valentine's Day? I usually don't put up that many decorations, but I do put up some this year, especially. I've done a few more. I'm really into gnomes, just like I said at Christmas time, and so I find cute Valentine's gnomes and I have to put them out. But I would say that my station at work is way more decorated Valentines than my home, because all of these things you see are things that I make and I take to work and sell. So I pretty much, people walk up and they go, wow, that's a lot of stuff. And I go, yep, that's what happens when you're stressed. Can you tell I'm stressed? There's multiple pieces of crafts that I've made at the salon. So that's just a little side story. So we're just finishing up putting those stickers on the mailbox, and I also like to dress up the flag. I think it's really cute to put a little bit of something special on the flag, so that if it's up, it looks a little bit, adds a little bit more touch, a little bit more Valentine's touch. So other than that, I think it turned out beautiful. I did end up cutting out another heart, as you saw, to put in the middle of that pink heart to kind of blend the reds and the pinks together. So that's why I added that red heart inside the pink heart. And we are going to get ready to glue that mailbox on. But first, I am going to take this black chalk paint. This is actually chalk paint from the Dollar Tree, and I have to say I really like this product. I have bought a few jars of it. I tried to do it all when everything was still $1. Unfortunately, last week my Dollar Tree was one of the ones to go up to $1.25. So I had stocked up, but wish I had stocked up a little bit more. But this paint is great, and I'm just taking like a stippling brush and just getting very little of the paint on it, and then just dry brushing the candlestick holder just to make it look a little bit older, more antique-y. It's a pretty simple technique, because if you get too much of the one color, so too much black, let's say, you can go back and dry brush some more pink in there if you need to. And trust me, I need to all the time. I'm infamous for overdoing it. Once I have completed the candlestick, I wanted to do some distressing on the mailbox itself to make it look a little bit more old and rustic. And so I'm dry brushing it with the black, and I'm using very, very little because I don't want big stripes on it or anything. So I'm just kind of going over it with just a very, very dry brush with that black chalkboard paint on it. Can you tell it is bedtime and I'm in bed? I'm so exhausted. So today I had to make 2 cakes, and then I've been trying to get this video done, and I had to cut my grandson's hair and my son-in-law's hair. So it's been a busy day. So I'm going to continue dry brushing this mailbox, and I think that this just adds the perfect ending touch to it before we glue on that heart onto the flag of the mailbox. So now it is time to attach the mailbox to the candlestick, and I have been using Loctite. You can get it at Walmart, you can get it at Home Depot, I'm sure you can get it at Michael's, but I really like how this glue, super glue type thing, sets up really fast and is easy to use. So I usually just put the mailbox upside down, and then I add that candlestick exactly where I want it. And within seconds, it kind of fuses itself, and then we flip it over and start again. Now we're going to go ahead and take a wooden heart that I got from the Dollar Tree in a package, and I'm going to hot glue that onto the little flag. And it just gives it a little bit more pop of color. These are so fun and so cute. I just love making them. I'm going to take these and fill them with candy when I'm all done and put them for sale at my station. Now I am tying some ribbon around, I believe, the base of the mailbox. No, I put it on the front of the mailbox eventually. But this is just some really pretty lace that I got at Dollar Tree. And I've actually gone back and I've tried to buy whatever they have because I really like this type of ribbon. It's easy to work with, and it's just super cute and pretty what's the word I'm looking for? It goes well with other things. Does that make sense? Like I told you, I'm tired and I'm in bed. So eventually I get it tied into the bow that I want, as you can see, and then the dilemma is, where do I place it? So I apologize that my camera was not angled very well, but I'm trying to decide whether to put it on the base of the mailbox, the top of the mailbox. And I think I finally decided to do it on the top before I realized that my camera isn't even angled the right way. So I'm cutting off some of these pink strings because I don't want them to cover the music notes. So sorry that I did not record this very well. So then it's what I think is finished, and then I still feel like it needs something else to make that bow pop. So I have this canister of red buttons that I had bought at Walmart, and they have some really, really cute buttons in there. So I'm trying to decide whether to put a button, a heart. I have all kinds of little accessories that I can add to it. So I end up adding a small red button to the center of that bow, and to me that just finishes it off perfectly, and it really helps everything to stand out. I just adjust the bow and it is done and ready to go. Tell me what you think or what you would have done different. I really love how this turned out. It just is so country chic, farmhousey. I don't know. I love it. And then I fill it with candy and it's just adorable. So on the other side, you will see a different one that I made. I made this one right before I decided to do the video on them. So they're really cute, and I have them displayed on my station at work, and I had fun using my Cricut with these. So this is just really cute to set out or to even gift to someone. So in the background, if you notice, there are little gumball machines that I made using Dollar Tree products, and that is going to be the next tutorial that we start with here. So I got the jar and the candlestick holder at the Dollar Tree, and I believe I have that in my Dollar Tree haul. Again, I will link that in the description box below. And I changed the angle of recording, hoping that this makes it a little better. So you guys will have to let me know if you like the side view better or the up top view. I noticed a lot of other YouTubers do it from the front and above, so I thought I would try this out. The first thing I'm going to do is Mod Podge, just like the last time, the glass that I'm going to be painting. So this is the top of the jar that I'm Mod Podging. Now, when I got this jar at my Dollar Tree, they only had 2 of them in stock, and I have yet to find another one. So what I ended up doing is using my Top Cashback app and then going through to Dollar Tree. And actually I was so lucky because I did it before they raised the price to $1.25. I got them for $1 each, and I ordered an entire case of them. So I believe I got 24 of them. And it was so worth it to get them because now I can make as many gumball machines as I want, and that seems to be the trend right now. And I have them for Easter and other holidays, and I'm glad I got them before that $1.25 price hit. I just wish I would have maybe gotten a little more, but these are super fun. So continue Mod Podging your lid and your candlestick holder. And these candlestick holders are also available on DollarTree.com, but I got these in the store itself. And when I saw these, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them, but then it just hit me. These two went together so well, and these are good for a tiered tray or for display or as a little gift to someone, but these are adorable. So I chose to go with one of my new colors, and I can't see it because I'm voiceovering, but I believe it's Tea Rose. So I'm pretty certain that that is the color that I used. It is not a chalk paint. I believe it's an acrylic paint. And I saw another YouTuber use it. Oh, Vintage Rose. And it's by Folk Art. And it is just an acrylic paint. But I just love the color of it. It's gorgeous. And so this is the color I chose to go with. And I changed my brush hoping that I get a better coverage. So just continue painting these until they're all done, and then of course I have to let them dry before I do another coat. Like I said, I'm super impatient for it to dry, so I want to get a full coat on the entire thing. So I'm sticking my finger in the center of the candlestick holder so that I can go around. Now, if I would purchase a heat gun, I know I could use a blow dryer, but my blow dryer isn't that great. But eventually I will get a heat gun so that I can dry these at a much quicker rate and not be so impatient. So I do my first coat and I'm getting ready to start the lid of the jar. So I will begin painting the lid of the jar, and this one's pretty easy to do. I mean, I get paint on my fingers, but I'm used to it. Being a hairdresser, when I do color, I get a lot of color on my hands. My nail girl laughs at me all the time. But I go ahead and continue painting the lid of the jar, and again, I'm going to let this dry completely. I'm getting into all the grooves and let it dry before I put another coat onto it. And now it's off to Cricut time. I decided I wanted to use bear hugs as what I put on the jar. Now some of them I did 25 cents. One I did Love Bug. I've done Be Mine. I did some Valentines sayings. But this time I decided to do bear hugs because to me that goes without saying for Valentine's Day or any other day of the week. So I created my images and I am now weeding them out so that I can put them on the glass while everything else dries. So as you can see, I made a little bear cub, and I realized once I took it out of the Cricut machine that I had made it too big. So originally I was going to put that on the glass, but because it was so large, I did not size it very well. I decided that I'm going to put this on the stem of the bubblegum jar or bubblegum machine. So I weed out the words bear and hugs, and that's what you see here. Remove the vinyl. It was kind of tricky a little bit to remove the vinyl, but I did manage to get that taken off and without ruining any of the letters. It seems like the smaller the letters, the harder it is, and then it also depends on the font that you use. But this was perfect font, I thought, for the saying that I was using and for the look I was going for. So now time to paint the second coat on the candlestick holder and also on the lid. So we will go ahead and apply that paint one more time and let it dry thoroughly before we move on. The second coat is complete, and we're going to set those aside and let them dry. And as I'm painting, I am using a foam brush, so I decided to give it kind of a sponge look. I don't know if any of you, I'm old, so sponge painting used to be in years ago, but I just kind of dab the color all over the candlestick and the lid like this, in this motion, just kind of back and forth, or up and down, however you want to say it, and create just kind of a spongy textured look. So it just gives it a different texture. So now it's time to add some transfer tape to my words and my bear so that we can apply these on the glass. Now the bear's going on the candlestick, so you have to make sure that it's completely dry, but I'll go ahead and get the bear hugs ready and put that on the glass jar. Now this is ready to go, and then I realized that I have the sticker on the bottom of the jar, and these stickers do not always come off easy. I do manage to get most of it off, but I'm going to show you a little trick of how I get stickers off. I know a lot of people use like the heat guns or whatever, but I typically just take like a paper towel or a cloth towel and get it a little bit wet or damp, and I stick it on top of the jar. Well, on the bottom of the jar in this case, to get that extra sticker off. But I decided to apply the bear hugs first. I cut it into 2 words because it is round. Sometimes it's hard if it's a longer word to get it on there just right. So it's much easier if I cut the word in half. There are 2 lines on this jar. I try to find the center and eye it as best as I can. And I start applying the word bear to it. And it's, like I said, it's kind of hard to do it on the circular thing, but this one wasn't too bad when it was just the 4 letters. So you're going to go ahead and apply that. So I use my fingers at first to apply it and just kind of wipe it on there because it typically adheres to the glass pretty well. I do have a question. I've seen a lot of crafters out there use different transfer tape than the Cricut transfer tape. What is your favorite transfer tape when it comes to applying decals and words and all that? So now I'm taking my little scraper and I'm just going over each letter so that I can get it to adhere to the glass completely. Now it's time to remove that transfer tape, and I don't know about you guys, but there's something pretty satisfying about taking that off and seeing the decal stick. So now I'm going to go on to the hugs and put that on there, and we're going to apply it the same way that we applied the bear, and stick it on that glass. I use my finger to stick it down, and then I use the little tool to scrape it so that I can get it to adhere completely. I did find that using my weeding tool on these little letters worked really well because the scraping tool is a little bit wider. It's hard to get in there, so I just took the really smooth edge of my weeding tool and pushed down those letters to make sure that they adhere to the glass. So that was just something that I found to be super helpful. And now it's time for the big reveal. Did it stick? Did it not stick? I believe it stuck. Love it. I am so happy that I'm learning how to use my Cricut finally, because this is so fun. You should see the amount of things that I have created at work. But I got that on there, which made me happy. So now it's time to work on getting that sticker off the bottom. Now, if you have any letters that aren't down all the way, I just put the transfer tape back on and use my finger to smooth them down, and that worked just fine. So, like I said, I take kind of like a damp paper towel or cloth, and I just kind of rub it on there and then stick it and put it to the side. It usually only takes a couple minutes, and then I can peel that sticker right off. Now making sure that paint is dry, and I'm going to adhere the bear onto the candle holder. And I will tell you this, please make sure your stuff is dry before you do it, because I tried to put it on way too soon and I peeled the paint off. So I kind of messed myself up. I did manage to get it on there correctly, but it was challenging because the paint was not completely dry. So I'm applying the bear the same way that I did the words, and I just kind of scrape it on there with my finger and get it to stay. And it's pretty much right here when I peel it off that I discover that I did not let the paint dry enough. So please, whatever you do, let it dry. I was extremely impatient. Okay, so once I had that bear on there, I flipped the candlestick holder over, as you can see, and I painted the bottom, and I'm letting it dry. As I'm removing that sticker from the bottom of the glass, I take my damp towel off, and then I just wipe it off until it's completely gone, and then I dry the glass very well. So as I'm voiceovering, I realized I forgot to put this ahead of the other. I use this Rustoleum Clear paint to seal everything in. So this is kind of how I got the bear to stick. There was a part of it that didn't, so I put a little Mod Podge under it, and then I sprayed a couple coats of this. I did it outside. I got that on Amazon, I believe, and I will link that in the description box below. Let it dry completely, then you can bring it in. You can start putting your gumball machine together. These are so fun, so easy, and so inexpensive to do. You can even get the little gumballs at the Dollar Tree. But what I was doing is I was theming them to whatever it was. So like I did gumballs on the one that said 25 cents. Bear hugs, I did little caramel pieces, but I thought about doing gummy bears. And then I did one that said pucker up, and I used Sour Patch Kids. So there's all these different things. I did the one with the bees, and that has a bit of honey in it. So they're super fun to do. What I used is my Loctite glue. I put it, as you notice, I take the jar and I put the jar upside down, and then I put the glue on top of the candlestick holder, and I place it in there to where I know I want it to set up. And then it usually sets up pretty quick. I kind of flip it over and go from there. So now I'm flipping it over. It's pretty much set in place. You want to make sure it's pretty tight before you start filling it. But that Loctite, I'm telling you, it definitely does a great job and works really fast. So once I know that it is secure, I'm going to start filling it with the candies. Now I had these soft caramels on hand. I think I had bought them at Ross or TJ Maxx or one of those places. And I did not have any gummy bears on hand, which is really what I wanted to put in it. But I thought the caramel kind of went with the color of a bear, and I thought that that was really cute. So I go ahead and I fill this up. And then this jar is basically ready to go and be displayed. It is all filled and it is adorable. I love the way that this came out. I have so much fun making these things. So here it is, standing upward with all my Valentine stuff. Bear hugs. What little kid or person wouldn't love this displayed? Or you could put it on a desk, a tiered tray, anything. But I love these gumball machines is what I call them, because that's what they look like to me. Super, super fun. And I'm so glad that I made so many and put a smile on other people's faces. That's what really I love to do the most. Okay, so moving on to my Dollar Tree hack. They had these gnomes this year and I missed them. They put them out, I guess, the day after Christmas. I missed it, so I ordered them on dollartree.com. I actually got 2 cases of them instead of 1 so that I could have a lot of fun. This is what they look like, all plain. And then I like to take them, I just have these displayed the way they are in my home, but I do sell them at work, and so I just like to fix them up a little bit and make them fun. So here's where I've added some extra things to them, all from Dollar Tree. The little hearts, the buttons I had, but the ribbons and the little things that look like balloons, those are all from Dollar Tree. Those paper flowers on the hat are from Dollar Tree. So get some of your accessories or go through your stash, see what you have, and get these cute little Valentine's gnomes and dress them up. I'm telling you, these would go in a store for probably $10 to $12, and I just think that they are so stinking cute, and I love them, and I would keep each and every one of them, but I can't. But I've had a lot of fun. If you have some ideas, I'd love to see your take on fixing up the Dollar Tree gnomes, because I'm telling you, these things are so cute. People just love them, and you can have so much fun creating your own style on your gnome. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I enjoyed doing this video. It took me a little longer than I expected. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell to help my channel to grow. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, next video, have a happy Valentine's Day and God bless.